unbearable back pains, unending sleepiness every morning, uncontrollable emotions, and yet every day, 9 to 5, just like a zombie, you keep going to work because you want to keep your success dream alive. Well, what if I told you by just addition of one simple habit, you can have all that pain fade away and finally get to the success you're looking for? Join me in this episode to have a look at the hidden link between fitness and career. Welcome to My Sculpture Project. My name is Issa. I'm a full-time professional just like yourself. And this is my journey where I try to learn and adapt the mindsets of new age high performance. And in case you're wondering what is new age high performance, I highly recommend look at the introduction video where I talk in detail about this idea of new age high performance. Now, so in today's episode, we're going to look at the hidden link between fitness and career success. I've seen many sources online, they talk about the biological advantages we gain by having fitness, including a habit. However, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the advantages we get into two main parts. One, the biological advantages. The other one is the psychological advantages. And at the end, as I understand by personal experience, the hardest part is to actually getting fitness involved in our schedules. So I'll share with you like a few questions you can ask yourself to figure out when is the best time for you to include fitness into your schedule. And right at the end, I'm going to share with you just one more piece of information, which is going to be very bitter, but that's the truth. And understanding this truth might actually help you keep doing this the long term. So stick around and find out all this in the next coming minutes. Now let's talk about the biological advantages. Right off the bat, without even having to mention it, I think it's clear that the idea of having all this soreness in the muscles and the way we feel with our back pains and the sleepiness, all that is going to go away as soon as we start working out. However, the three main biological advantages I want to talk to you about is not about the pain. It's about the brain. So what are these advantages? Improved learning ability, improved memory, and improved emotional control. That's one. Second one is you can have improved physical coordination and balance. That's two. Number three is you're going to have improved self-regulatory capacities. Now we'll talk more about these points, starting with improved memory, learning, and emotional control. So there was a research that was done for males between the age 18 to 25. And in this research, what they did is they broke them into two groups. One group is the sedentary group. The other group was the control group. And this whole idea was around finding the BDNF levels of the brain. What's BDNF, you might ask? Good question. BDNF stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This plays a huge role in the neuronal growth and survival. Also, this acts as a neurotransmitter modulator, and BDNF participates in the neuronal plasticity, which essentially helps in learning and memory. The way this research was conducted is by having the sedentary group and the control group. And in the control group, they were allocated various exercises randomly. But all these exercises last between 20 to 40 minutes each. And these exercises were aimed to have a heart rate of at least 60 to 80% of the max. And before and after every exercise, blood work was drawn by the participants. What was interesting is that at the end of this experiment, they found that for every time these participants did exercise, their BDNF levels roughly went up by 32%, which confirms the idea that with regular exercise, we can improve our memory, learning abilities, and emotional control. Point number 2, regular fitness sessions will improve your physical coordination and balance. There has been research that has confirmed the idea of doing regular exercises specifically high aerobic exercises, would improve your physical coordination and balance. These high aerobic exercises could also be replaced with complex activities such as martial arts, some complex sports, or even dancing. What they found by the research is that every single time these activities were performed, the cerebellum, the region which is in charge of the physical coordination and balance, will be highly activated. But also, it is known that the cerebellum and the prefrontal cortex is interconnected in a deeper way. Prefrontal cortex is the part which is in charge of high cognitive functions. Therefore, every single time we perform these exercises, it not just improves our ability to have physical coordination and balance, it also sharpens our brain. Third advantage is improved self-regulatory capacities. A research was conducted to measure the improvements of self-regulatory capacities with exercise. What they essentially did is they took this research, they carried this research for 4 months, and they had a control group where they had 2 phases. First was the 2 months of control phase, and the second, that was the last 2 months, which was self-regulatory phase. What they did, or how they measured these self-regulatory improvements, is by the visual tracking of their stress levels, and their general self-regulatory activities, or how they handle those. At the start of the research, obviously they did these measurements and got a baseline. And after that, every single month, they were called back and they were measured for these metrics. What's the interesting part is that they found in the first 2 months of the control session, the stress levels reduced significantly. And the second part where there was 2 months of self-regulatory sessions. And what they found is that in those 2 months, the amount of alcohol consumption, the amount of caffeine consumption, the amount of junk food eating reduced, while it improved the amount of healthy food eating and sleep, and few other factors as well. So this explains that with constant exercises, which is consistent, and if you have that within your habits, it's going to improve your self-regulatory capacities. And having improved self-regulatory capacities, having improved brain activities such as your learning, your memory, and your emotional control, and your ability to actually be sharper with your thinking, this is going to maximize your performance, making you a high performer at your job. Now, let's talk about the 3 psychological advantages you gain by having consistent fitness in your schedule. To name the 3 advantages you're going to get, the first one will be improved emotions leading to happiness, leading to more productivity. And the second one will be a boost in self-confidence and self-respect. Number 3 will be improvement in your leadership skills and how that's going to help you elevate yourself to the next level. So first, let's talk about improved emotions leading to happiness, which leads to productivity. As we discussed, one of the biological advantages you're going to get is that you're going to have improved ability to control your emotions. And if someone is able to control their emotions, they will be having a good understanding of what's in their control, what's not in their control. This would help you to actually not worry about things that you cannot control and just be happy with what you can do and do the best you can. And this way, this is going to lead for you to be more happy. The happier you are, that's going to lead for you to be more productive at your work. And this is actually going to help you to achieve more with less time. Second advantage is having a big boost in your self-confidence and self-respect. Now, picture this in your head. You've been going to the gym consistently and you're finally starting to see the changes in your body and you can feel the strength in your body. And you are talking to yourself different because you have been proving to yourself for the past, however long it is, that you can do something once you put your mind into it. And you can see the results coming out and you feel proud of yourself and you have that self-confidence going up. And what happens is that the boost of self-confidence actually spills over to your work as well. And you become more confident with your work and you can feel that you can use the same confidence and do more work and take more responsibility. And you're not afraid to do things because you understand, even if it is a bit extra work, I can handle it. If anyone can handle it, that would be me. And now you'll see the interesting scenario where how this is going to actually help you with the third point. You're going to have improved leadership, and you're going to be known as a leader if you want to be. So how this is going to play out is that with the boost of self-confidence and the way you're going to take on more activities, more responsibility, because you know you're confident that you can get it done. This is actually what leaders do. This is exactly what a leader is, not a boss, a leader who's going to show by example, who's going to show up and get stuff done, help each other, elevate others instead of trying to push them down, because you understand and you are confident in yourself, and you being confident with yourself, and you're talking to yourself different, and you're elevating yourself, which you will do the same with everybody else. And in your head, you're not worried or stressed. You're not very emotional about everything else because you're in a good state. You're happy. You're productive. You have a different perspective about things, and you just want to get things done, and you just want to achieve. And this is going to spill over to everybody else. And if you wish to become a leader, without a question, this will help you take that next step. It's so fun and exciting when you think about how all these advantages will help you take the next step in your career. However, how am I going to get started with this? That's the first question I had for myself as well. When I first wanted to get fitness into my schedules, this was one of the biggest questions that I was asking myself. So I realized it's not up for me to tell you the time or where the exercises you should be doing. Rather, I would just share with you some questions that you can ask yourself to figure out what is best for you and how that's going to work out for you. First question to ask yourself is, are you a night owl or are you an early riser? While it might look trivial, this might be one of the most important questions, as this would help you find a consistent way to do your exercises, a consistent time slot to do your exercises. Question number 2. How many days do I have openings, or how many days a week would I have openings to be able to commit to doing workouts? And remember, the workouts are supposed to be minimum 20 minutes. 20 minutes of exercise, not 20 minutes including traveling, changing, and whatever have you. Once you have figured out whether you are a night owl or an early riser, and the time slots, a few time slots within the week that you can actually do it, and you've decided, well, I'm just going to do 3, even though I have like 6 available, I just want to do 3 sessions of exercise. Fantastic. Once you have that done, the next question you have to ask yourself is, when do I usually feel the most tired? So the reality of this is, if you aim this for a time period within the day that you feel the most tired, the chances of you not being able to go through with exercise is high. You're going to have to move things around a little bit and find a time slot where you won't be trying to exercise when you feel the most tired. Would help you actually consistently do exercise long term. And the last question you need to ask yourself is, how do I make this easy on myself? It could be simple things that we always hear from other people. For example, should I prepare my gym bag the day before? Should I just keep it in the car? Should I take it to office with me? Should I actually have a gym which is pretty close to my house? Should I join a gym which is close to my workplace? Depending on the first 3 questions, you can decide which of these little things you can do to help yourself to have a better chance of actually going through with this. Now, at the end, my friend, just like I told you at the beginning, the bitter truth. Let's talk about the bitter truth. The bitter truth about not just working out, but with many things in life is that this is not going to go perfectly. There's going to be many times that you're going to mess up. There's going to be many times you won't be able to do what you plan to do anyways. But the reality is, we have to understand, we're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to perform. Consistency over a long time would give you the level of success you're looking for. But the hard part is to stay consistent. I made the same mistake with many things when I would start something and I want it to be perfect. And the moment I cannot do one thing that I'm supposed to do for it, I give up. However, with time and trying different things, I've realized there's no way around it. The reality of this process is you must put in the work. And even when you mess up, even when you can't do these things, say you miss out on working out for a week, 2 weeks, just one day. Could be any. But however, remember, you're not trying to be perfect. You're just trying to perform. Keep that in your mind. And like David Goggins always says, callous your mind. That's the only way we can make sure these things are getting done. And this is going to be a long-term benefit. All right, it's time to do a quick recap. So in this episode, we talked about the 3 main biological advantages you gain by doing fitness, which is to have improved brain activities such as memory, learning, and emotional control. And it is to have better physical coordination and balance. And the third one is obviously to have improved self-regulatory capacities. And then we talked about the psychological advantages. The first one is you're going to be more happier and you're going to be more productive. And number 2 is you're going to have a big boost in your self-confidence and your self-respect. Number 3 is you're going to have improved leadership skills, and which will help you elevate your career to the next level. And at the end, we talked about the 4 questions you can ask yourself to find out the best time slot for your workouts, which I will put in the description as well. And at the end, the bitter truth. Just remember, we are not trying to be perfect. We are trying to perform. So, my friend, that's it from me for this week. And if you found this episode helpful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe so that I can bring you more valuable episodes in the coming weeks. And every week I will update a summary of this episode on TikTok. So maybe next time you can have a look at the TikTok first, look at the summary, decide if it's worth your time, and you can have a look at the full episode. In that case, until next week, stay safe and keep sculpturing your mind.